So my mother had a magnet on her refrigerator that said, "God said it, I believe it, and that settles it." I was both repulsed and curiously intrigued by this statement. So many questions rose up for me, like, how did she know who God was and what exactly God was saying and to whom God was speaking? I did understand that for her, God's words came from the Bible, or more specifically from the interpretations that her evangelical ministers provided to her. Well, for better or worse, I never chose to go down the path of unpacking what that statement really meant to her. What it said to me, though, was that there was no room to question, no room to wonder about context, no room to consider how translations may have changed meaning over time, no room to ask who had the power to write those words, no room to wonder whose voices were never included. There was quite simply no room to doubt. Our Unitarian Universalist faith asks each of us to engage in a free and responsible search for truth and meaning, a lofty goal that one is often fraught with doubt and uncertainty, as we tend to question everything. And so a question for this morning then is, how are you holding your beliefs and your doubts? Is the top of your belief bag open? Are you able to let new ideas in and toss out the ones that really don't fit any longer? Are you paying attention to what goes in? Do you take time to consider how those beliefs fit with what you already know? Are you able to share your beliefs with a sense of curiosity about what others may think and consider what others have to share with you? As Americans, we pride ourselves on living in a country in which we are free to express our ideas. Our cherished First Amendment declares our right to express ideas through speech, through the press, to assemble or gather with a group to protest, and to ask the government to fix problems. It's also designed to protect the rights of religious beliefs and practices. It was designed to prevent the government from creating or favoring a single religion. Paul Dodenhoff says of our faith, the freedom to doubt, to question, to be content to live in mystery is central to the liberal religious tradition. Like the process of evolution itself, the path that we follow, our practice, if you will, it's not easy and it's not simple. It isn't without dead ends or disappointments. It doesn't guarantee that all of our conclusions will be final or that we will ever find an answer to all of our questions. But also, like the process of evolution, it's filled with great expressions of beauty and awe that are sometimes born of great struggle and at other times come as unexpected grace. This rings true for me. While there are times that I long for the proverbial writing on the wall, clarity that leaves absolutely no room for doubt or uncertainty, I know that my soul truly is home in the mystery, the understanding that there is so much more to this life than I will likely ever know. The history of Western civilization has in many ways biased us toward faith and belief over skepticism and doubt. And that's understandable. Uncertainty can be really uncomfortable, but too much certainty, especially in group settings, can activate our tribal fears. And we're seeing this being played out in profound ways in the world today, ways that seek to constrict choice and condemn difference rather than make room for the diversity of life that is in the end utterly undeniable. We're witnessing the rise of Christian nationalism in this country, a force that is dangerous and is at total odds with what the First Amendment promises. Against such forces as this, it's very important that we find places in our own spheres of influence to speak out and question such worldviews, while also doing the difficult work of wondering what is really at the center of such beliefs. I came across some writings by a woman named Susanna Barlow, and she inspired much of what follows. She says, "It's understandable to want to know and to be sure of our ideas and beliefs, to be confident about our decisions. But if we become too attached to our knowledge, which is always evolving as we learn, we can become blinded, narrow-minded, and stuck. Absolute certainty bumps up against undeniable truth and can cause a sense of cognitive dissonance as we search for evidence to confirm our certitudes. Doubt invites humility and encourages an I don't know mind that is so essential to development, growth, innovation, and progress. Doubt asks us to look deeper and to look longer. It takes more self-confidence to express doubt and uncertainty than it is to claim that you are right. Doubt can expand your thinking. It can allow room for questioning, for examination. It allows you to shift perspectives and deepen understanding. But you must develop the ability to be okay with being uncomfortable. You must be flexible. Doubt can foster this skill set. If you have an extreme personality, someone who thinks in terms of black and white, for example, doubt can be a mitigating influence to bring expansion and moderation. Doubt can prevent you from holding on to ideas too tightly. Problems arise when we believe our assumptions and don't question them enough. Introducing doubt into our day-to-day interactions can be a powerful tool, especially if you're the type of person who is ultra sure about everything. Now, the flip side of this is that if you are someone who's overwhelmed by doubt and it makes you cynical and jaded, like anything, you can be engaging in too much of a good thing. If you are a doubtful person, someone who second guesses everything, is always sitting on the fence, someone who cannot decide, these are symptoms of fear. Fear that uses doubt as an excuse to avoid action or to gain clarity. Doubt can be crippling if it's used to avoid and sabotage, and it can be a signal of a missing inner compass or a sense of selfhood. One of the most powerful ways to use doubt is the way that it can invite questions. Whenever you are struggling with something, it may be a good practice to stop and look at the part of your thinking that is unquestioned, the ideas and beliefs that you assume are totally accurate. Bring doubt into your self-examination by questioning the absolutism of those ideas. And here are some examples of questions that might be helpful. What don't I know about? And you can fill in the blank. What if I did or I didn't believe X, Y, or Z? How do I define, and again, you can fill in the blank. Where does the feeling I'm feeling, where does the idea I'm thinking originate? When have I felt this way in the past? What would it take for me to act against my values? Who says? Is it God said it? I believe it, that settles it, according to the minister in the pulpit, even me? How do you know that that is true? I think that the ultimate goal is to invite us to take a step back and reflect on what we believe or disbelieve and why. My mentor, Reverend Carl Gregg, reminded me that some of the greatest thinkers of humanity have wrestled with the questions that arose from a place of doubt. The Copernican revolution, which showed that the sun, not the earth, is at the center of our solar system, decentered our place in the grand scheme of things. A decentering that has become increasingly clear with paradigm-shifting discoveries from people such as Darwin, Freud, Jung, Einstein, Hubble, and so many others. Indeed, the 20th century theologian Dorothy Soleil has pointed out that faith without doubt is not stronger, it's simply more ideological. Author Annie Lamott has written, "The opposite of faith is not doubt, it is certainty. It's madness. You can tell you have created God in your own image when it turns out that he or she hates all the same people you do." No worries. I leave you with a final thought from philosopher Peter Rollins. The individual who is able to loosen themselves from the notion that there is some ultimate purpose to their life frees themselves from the negative melancholy that comes with being unable to find that purpose, or the naive optimism that comes from thinking that they will. He says the secret is that there is no secret. Instead, the challenge is to discover and deepen love. For love not only affirms the world, it produces a surplus in that joyful affirmation, acts that enact liberation.